right, so I forgot to record the first problem. Basically, it gives us a table with nutrition facts for dried fruit and nuts. We have protein, carbs, and fat. And then it tells us how many servings of the fruit and nuts are in two different kinds of trail mix. And we made each table into a matrix because the directions said to do that. We multiplied them, and then we sorted out what everything in the table meant. So we talked about this first row was protein in fruit and nuts, and this was the servings of fruit and nuts in the mix. And so this is protein for each kind of mix, carbs for each kind of mix, fat for each kind of mix. We're going to extend this problem to do to have fiber also. So it says we're going to rewrite matrix N to reflect the additional information. So if you go back up to this table, it's like we're just adding fiber, which I spelled R-E the British way instead of E-R, because why not? And it tells us there's 2.9 grams in the fruit and 1.4 grams. So they're smaller numbers, but that's fine. And then we'll just put this into the matrix, and it will, on the calculator, it'll be easy to add another row. So our matrix N, just for notes purposes, will now be 3, 20, 65, 21, 152, and 2.9, 1.4. So we added another nutrition fact. I just realized that's why they had us call it N.
Nutrition.
All right, and then they want us to take that times matrix G. So I'm just going to write matrix G next to it because it'll look better in the notes. And we're going to multiply them on the calculator. Now, matrix N on the calculator, we actually put in where it says A. We put G where it says B. Too many letters. We'll figure it out. All right, so we go into the matrix editor by going second matrix, and then we're going to go over to edit. So matrix A is where we put matrix N. They don't have an N, so we just used A. So instead of a 3 by 2, I'm going to change this to 4, and it will keep all the information we already put in, which is nice. I just have to go down to that bottom row and put in 2.9 and 1.4. So kind of cool. We didn't have to like reset anything. You can just add it on. And then we already have this matrix in as matrix B, so I'll just show you that really quick since I wasn't. So matrix B, we've already put in 4, 3, 2, 3. Okay, so to multiply N times G, which is what it tells us to do down here, we're going to go back to the main screen. So you're going to go second quit. We're going to tell it to take A times B. So you can copy and paste those matrix names by going second matrix, just hit enter on A from the names menu, and then times second matrix, go down to B. We'll have matrix A times matrix B, and it's now giving us the new information. So the first 3 lines we already had. We already had protein, carbs, and fat for the 2 mixes. Now we have fiber for the 2 mixes as well. And so I'll just copy that down really quick. Get all the information. And I will scoot this. Okay. So I just copied the information down from my calculator. And it wants to know which mix has more fiber. So if we're looking at these lines, this is protein, this is carbs, this one was fat, this is fiber. And when we combined the 2 matrices, this became the sports mix of fruit and nuts, and this became the camp mix, which is probably just supposed to be like trail mix. And so if we look at fiber, this the sports mix definitely has more fiber, so we could circle that. Sports mix has more fiber. So I've been trying to just, I was off the screen again, sorry. I've been trying to just field questions as we go on where we use this, and I thought this would be a nice way for people to see. A matrix is kind of like a table that holds information, but it's more powerful because we can put it into a calculator and have it do all kinds of crazy things. Imagine this was all the nutrition facts that were listed on the side of this big bag of trail mix or whatever. You could very quickly do a whole lot of calculations. And this is also the same concept behind a lot of big things in computer programming. They just have the computer do it, but you still have to set up what's going in. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in. This is really tiny print. I have one more example. It says, let's do a real-life example to see how the multiplication works. I don't know why it's the multiplication, but whatever. Let's say we want to find the final grades for 3 girls, and we know what their averages are for tests, projects, homework, and quizzes. We also know that tests are 40%, projects are 15%, homework is 25%, and quizzes are 20%. So you could use this to figure out your weighted grades and what you need for things for exams, which we have coming up here pretty soon. And so it didn't print really great. Can't see it on the screen. This is student. It says tests. So since it didn't, it's hard to see. I'll just put these up here really quick. Tests, projects, homework, quizzes. And so this is the average for tests, projects, homework, and quizzes for each of these 3 girls. And then down here in this matrix, they have put in the weights for tests, projects, homeworks, and quizzes for this particular class. Now, there's a reason they did a 4x1 instead of a 1x4, because when we put it into matrices that will multiply, you have to have 4 this way and 4 this way. So we're going to make a matrix for the grades. So I'm going to do that really quick. 92, 100, 89, 80, 72, 85, 80, 75, 88, 78, 85, 92. So when you guys go in online to look at your grades, it will break it down and give you the average for, like for my class, it's only tests and homework, but I think in science, you have a lot more.
Drop the screen. Okay.
So I just copied down the numbers from the first table and made it into a matrix. So as I was saying, you guys can look at your averages. Like I'm thinking about science class because he has a lot of different weights. Your quizzes are a certain weight, your tests are a certain weight, your labs are a certain weight, your homework is a certain weight. You could actually use this as we go into finals week, knowing what certain things are because they're probably not going to change, and then put in that final exam grade just with different ones and kind of see how it's going to go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to multiply it by the weights. And so they've already converted the percentages to decimals for us, which is kind of nice, 0.4, 0.15, 0.25, and 0.2. So they made sure that when these lined up, it went tests, projects, homework, quizzes. Tests, projects, homeworks, quizzes, because we've talked about that's how you multiply matrices. We are going to do this on the calculator. And so I'm going to go second matrix. And except I did it again. Second matrix, edit. I forget every time, and I've been doing this for a little while. So I'm going to make this a 3x4, so we have the same number of spaces as this first matrix, and just type in the numbers really quick. And theoretically, you could leave this set up on your calculator all school year. When you guys are in college, if you know the weights for a class, you could put it in. And then as you knew your averages, you could change it just to calculate your grade. A lot of things are still online for colleges, but it depends on where you go. Some of them, when I was in school, you didn't know your grade. You had a midterm grade that they mailed to you on a piece of paper. And then you had your final grade that they mailed to you, and usually you had no idea how you did on the exam or anything else until you got that final grade.
Wow.
I know. You went in, you took your finals, you had no idea how it went. Your grade got mailed on the grade card later from college. It was super stressful because you just didn't know. All right, so I'm going to go back into the matrix editor. So second matrix, go over to edit, and I'm just going to make matrix B a 4x1. It really won't let you mess this up. You'll know if it's not the right shape.
You just did that in matrix A, not matrix B.
Oh my gosh.
Did you just reset all your stuff?
Yes. So I did. So it's okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm having a rough day. It's going to be fine. 3 by 4. I can type fast. I did do it in Matrix A. Thank you for catching that before I tried to multiply them because it would have been pretty funny. Okay. Someday when they replace me with just a robot, maybe this won't happen. Okay, that's Matrix A. Second, Matrix. Edit. Go down to B and make that one 4 by 1. 0.4, 0.15, 0.25, and 0.2. So what this is going to do is each line is a different kid. It's going to take their averages and do the weights, and you'll get to see what each girl's grade ends up being. So, everybody good? So I'm going to hit second, quit, go back to the main screen, and then I copy and paste my matrices over. So second matrix A times second matrix B. You're welcome to use whichever matrices you want, just don't keep retyping over the same one.
Yeah.
And so this is going to give us, and they are decimals, and we could figure out, rounding or what have you. So if we go through the 3 girls, the first one would be Alexandra. Is going to have a 90.05. Megan has a 76.55, which would probably be a 77. And Brittany, I can spell Brittany, is an 86.55. And then you can see their weighted grades pretty quickly. I'll just kind of put a matrix around that. Thank you for watching.
Subscribe to